Yeah. How you on camera? I got evidence of that fucking blip. Hey guys, I finally got the collector's edition Gene Stealer Cult Codex. I'm ready to have fun in 10th edition. Alright, anyways. Hey everyone, Codex came in. I'm done playing Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. I'm not. I'm still maybe stuck on a flame boss. But hey, I'm here to talk to you about GSC, and more specifically, what I'm going to be bringing to tournaments coming soon. Let's go ahead and roll the intro. Oh, my dog's here. Anyways, we're hanging out. We got a big stretching boy right in the back here. Is he going to go for the back legs? Oh, the back legs. Oh. This is more of a loosey-goosey kind of video. I didn't really write a script. We are kind of going off the cuff, and I'm just going to talk to you about what I feel like I'm going to be bringing to the next couple tournaments, what I'm going to be working with, what I've been testing, and just overall the feel and feedback that I've been hearing over the course of the past couple weeks, right? So, I have been testing out Xeno Creed Congregation. I think that one looked the coolest. I called it from the shot that I think I would like it the most, and I have been having a lot of fun with it. It's much more melee intensive than I thought it initially was going to be, and that's mostly because of I underestimated the output that neophytes can do now, or I overestimated it. I still think neophytes have extreme value at 140 points, but it is rougher to get any kind of value with them. Not only because the seismic cannons and the mining lasers got nerfed, but you're so used to just having sustained hits 1 from index that I think a lot of that really changed. Or I just assumed the sustains was still going to be there and just hadn't done the math yet. So I will admit I was wrong on that. I still think, however, at least 1 to 2 squads of 20 and then 1 to 2 squads of 10 is a great pick. Now, going into what I have been building and the list that I have been doing, I've been building lists with basically 1 to 2 squads of hand flamers. I'll go ahead and put like one of my main lists right here. 1 to 2 squads of hand flamer acolytes, 1 big squad of pistol acolytes, maybe even 2, with generally 1 or 2 5-mans just to farm CP. I've got 2 big squads of neophytes. I think I shuffled that down to 1 though. 1 squad of 10 neophytes, some trucks, 2 squads of hybrid metamorphs, 2 ridge runners, and character support. We're talking 2 icon wards, some primuses, and I've been trying out the Benefactus. It's all right. I don't love its performance in Xeno Creed. I think there was too much counterplay from my opponent in Vengeance of the Martyr to set up reliably the Vengeance for full rerolls to hit and lethal combo on a neophyte squad that I just don't think is really worth it. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I just think at 80 points it's a very steep character, and I would rather just bring another unit. I could be wrong though, right? I could be very wrong. Now, performance with it, I've been doing well. I don't think the games are necessarily bad. Even the ones that I've lost are still very close. It's a very big tempo shift from what I'm used to and how I've been playing GSC the past couple editions, honestly. Because even 9th edition Codex would be more akin to 9th edition Codex would be more akin to 10th edition Index than 10th edition Codex. At least in terms of Xeno Creed, right? There was definitely people who were playing 9th more like this with just acolytes and trucks and spamming that, and that's totally fine, right? Where I'm going from here, however, is I think that at face value, there is a lot of value in Xeno Creed, especially with the +1 attack and weapon skill, especially with advance and charge. There is a lot of lethality here that I really do like, but I think, in my opinion, my opinions are... How do I say this? How I rate the strength of the detachments has changed. A lot. I think Outlander is higher than where I put it last time. I don't think it's 3rd. I think it's either 1st or 2nd. But I don't know where to put Xeno Creed and Host of Ascension. I don't know which is better. And so for the next couple tournaments, I'm going to be trying out Host. I think that's just the easiest for me to do. I think a lot of people who are still on index are going to be fine rocking the host of Ascension. However, I am making a lot of changes to my host list. I think I've learned a lot of things in Xenocrate that are still good by their base stats that would be taken in host of Ascension, right? I want to have more things on the board. I want to have more melee threats, especially with Our Time is Nigh giving +2 to charge. That really can be great for some units. I was playing around with the thought of even maybe adding a Patriarch with some Gene Stealers. I don't think I'm going to do that yet, but I do like the Hybrid Metamorph package, just with Icon Ward and a truck scouting up, especially with the new terrain features for GW and possibly how FLG is going to do it. I think they're just good, strong units just in the package by themselves. Yes, Xenocrate makes them stronger, but I think them by themselves is still worth being brought in host. I'm only bringing probably 2 to 3 big squads of neophytes, which feels rough. And honestly, I'm even thinking not even going 3 Primus. I think I'm just going to do 2 Primus. That way I just have more units elsewhere. We'll play with it. I think now that Primuses they're staying at 90 points, but everything else got remarkably cheaper. I think there is some value to just bringing more stuff, right? So I like Acolytes with auto pistols as like a nice rapid ingress thought. I also really like the biophages attached to anything in this unit, specifically for if you rapid ingress a melee threat. Yes, you can get in with sustain and lethals, but they always just have the lethals, so I can have a turn to where I'm not coming in from deep strike, I'm just on the board and I can use my crit 5 stratagems to get 5 up lethal hits, and I think that's really good. I think in a lot of matches that can help Acolytes take down heavier targets, get consistency into just wounding a lot of things, because I think we are still going to have problems with cracking things in terms of activation economy. And I want to see how the biophages play into that in terms of working with primed and ready. Now, that being said, I think you want to bring a lot of just cheap throwaway units. If I'm not doing these big bombs to where I have the Nexus and I'm doing perfect ambush twice a turn and all this kind of stuff, yes, I'm being CP intensive because I want to do primed and ready once, if not twice a turn, especially on my drop turns. But outside of that, everything else can just be cheap. I don't need big buffs on stuff anymore. And I think with how Pariah Nexus is turning out to be much more mission intensive, I think having these cheap battle line units can really help. That being said, I think there still needs to be a good amount of units put into our support, a support category. Does that make sense? To make the army tick, you want 2 Ridge Runners for sure with mortars. They're in 1-man squads, that way you can at least hand out 2 sources of +1 AP, right? Throughout the whole turn. That's amazing. That being said, you probably even want a 3rd squad. And I think there's value in running 2 Ridge Runners, spotters, with mining lasers that you put in reserves. They come down, it's 2d3 shots, they've got sustained and ignores cover, they're going to be hitting on 3s. It's inconsistent, but it can blow up transports, and it also gives you a 3rd source of +1 AP, right? You put the mining lasers into whatever transport you want to blow up into, and if you're able to get an angle on something that you want to charge, or if you don't blow up the truck and you just need something else to kill it, you can put the +1 there. If not, heavy stubbers go into whatever else you need, and that's where your +1 AP comes from, right? So you're looking at 150 points to 300 point investment there. I think you still want 2 5-man squads of Pure Strains, if not a 10-man. I've been playing around with the thought of 10 Pure Strain Gene Stealers with the Patriarch. You infiltrate them in, they stay in there, you redeploy them into reserves. That way you are screening out any type of infiltrators and you don't have to deal with that. And you just put them in reserves. They rapid ingress, and then you run them up, and you've got 40 attacks on 2s at 4, 2, 1. Crit 5 is possibly at 4-3-1, right? Strength 4, AP 3, damage 1. The Patriarch is going to annihilate something. It's 6 attacks onto strength 6, AP 2, damage 2, possibly AP 3 with Twin Linked, and he's giving the whole squad devastating wounds. That's going to eat something alive, right? That's going to replace a threat that normally we would just have Neophytes and a Primus for. You're looking at 150 points plus 85 points. That's 235, if my math is correct. Yeah, 235. Meanwhile, a Neophyte squad before was 270, right? If you had the Primus with it. It's not going to kill as many things as the Primus squad did, but it's cheaper. And I really appreciate that. I think it's arguable as well because it's 230 for Neophytes with a Primus right now. Yeah, I'm stacking up on these. I love this. I want to see Acolytes with Hand Flamers because the full rerolls to wounds on 10d6 Hand Flamers is really good at just clearing chaff or just helping tick things down on points to help open it up for your other shooting or melee to come in and just blow it up. And I think there is now, you want a lot more diversity in your army list to be able to handle all these different threats that you're going to see. I think now we aren't going to be as skewed in terms of, I'm just going to bring 120 Neophytes and 40 Acolytes and let my opponent figure it out, right? Now we're kind of having to play the game of Warhammer 40,000. Who would have thought? But I think Host is a really strong choice right now. I know a lot of people want to do Outlander. I know a lot of people want to do Xenocreed. I'm not saying that Host is better than either of those. In fact, I'll probably have other videos coming out soon that are going to go in depth and talk about Xenocreed and Outlander Claw. But for right now, I want to talk about Host of Ascension. Hello, little Hobie. Coming to poke your little head in. All right, so where are we looking? What are we looking to put in this list? Okay, let's talk about this. I'm thinking we do like 2 Primuses. I'm fine checking out a Benefactus just because having a squad that has lethal and sustained on the turn it comes in can be really good. We may have to mess around with that though, right? I like 2 5-man squads of Acolytes with pistols. I like 2 10-man squads of Acolytes with pistols. I really want to go heavy in terms of having the anti-vehicle to mess with my opponent as I need. If I'm going to be good into vehicles, I want to be good into vehicles. I will have everything else handle all the chaff and elite infantry. I want squads that say, are you big? Do you have vehicle tag? Please leave the room. Outside of that, we go next into 2 squads of Neophytes. I'm kitting these out with mining lasers, mining lasers, seismic cannons, grenade launchers, and Webers. I think in terms of what they offer, I do like the thought of heavy stubbers. I might even later on switch one of them out to where it's seismic cannon and heavy stubbers just for a bunch of shots, right? Because I want their role to be anti-chaff and anti-elite. Then we go to Acolytes with Hand Flamers. I'm considering not giving them demo charges and just having it be like 9d6 flamers, which just hurts, especially with full rerolls to wound. Their whole purpose is to drop down. I don't think I want to rapid ingress them because I don't know about that CP investment. But they're going to drop down, they're going to walk, they're going to look at something and say, hello, here is 9d6 rerolling wounds, shots, strength 3, AP 1, damage 1. Does it kill everything in the world? No, but it makes them roll dice. And when your opponent rolls dice, there's a chance that they roll 1s. And when they roll 1s, they tend to lose the game. That being said, the rest of the list is looking pretty simple. It's going to be 2 trucks, I believe it's 2 trucks, hybrid metamorphs with hand flamers, of course. I think that if you're offering your opponent the chance to get caught on something, if you roll high enough on a dice, they're just going to treat it like you had a 6, right? They're just going to remain 7.00001 inches away, right? That's fine. That's even better for us, right? Oh, the list also, boom, icon ward inside. just to give them the 4-up Feel No Pain. I really like it. I think it's cool. If I have too many characters, I may take this one out just because maybe the investment is a little bit too much for this squad, right? But I digress. To finish out the list, we've got 1 squad of Pure Strains to just help screen out anything I need, and then 2 Ridge Runners. If there are any changes to this list, I could see you taking out, because we're at 1995, I could see you taking out the Benefactus, I could see you taking out the Icon Ward, maybe shifting points around here and there to where you take out an Acolyte squad, and now you're looking at adding a different character like the Sanctus or the Kellermorph, and then you have enough points to add in 2 Ridge Runners with the Mining Lasers, right? It's certainly a thought. I still have to play around with this and see what I like, but I will say I think Host is really good. I think if you have Assassination Edict on one Primus and a flaw in their armor on another Primus, I think you're just in a really good spot in terms of being able to tackle the problems that you need to tackle, right? I think GSC is still great in terms of scoring. What it can offer, lying in wait is still... Oh, wait, not lying in wait. Tunnel Snakes. Tunnel Crawlers. Jesus. Tunnel Crawlers is still a fantastic stratagem that is just going to stop your opponent from playing the game. If they can't move more than 2 inches, even if they charge you because your neophytes are tight enough together and you're just move blocking them, it doesn't matter that you die to any kind of shooting. They can't get the angles. So I think overall this list has legs. It's got arms, maybe even 4 arms. Who knows? Do you know, Hobie? He really doesn't want to talk to me. Anyways, I think what we've got going on is the premise for a good list. I think there is better lists out right now, but one, I need to get the more models for them. I'll keep it a buck. I may have gotten rid of my bikes, and I need to buy more bikes. And then also just Xenocrete is so Acolyte heavy with where I want to take it. I would need to get a couple more, which is fine. That being said, I think Host has a lot of really strong potential, and that's going to be my first pick. Now, in terms of what we can do, I think, let me look through this. All right, Prowling Adjutant. Hear me out. I like this. I like Prowling Adjutant now, and I specifically like it on the Icon Ward that joins with the Hybrid Metamorphs. Because, hear me out, if your opponent moves close enough to where they can Brood Surge, but they're outside of 7, it puts this bubble in to where they end their move, and you're like, okay, if it's within 9, I can move up to 6 inches and be close enough to where if I get shot, I'm getting into combat with you. Full stop. And I think it's just a massive headache for my opponent. I think in the right scenarios it can be great, and also there's times to where they get up to me with a melee threat that I just don't want to be next to, and I get the fuck out of there. So I think it's good. A flaw in their armor, we're putting that on a Primus, we're putting that with neophytes, and we're just shooting people. Sustained hits, lethal hits, full rerolls, ignoring cover, +1 AP. What else did it... Sustained, lethal, full rerolls, ignore cover, +1 AP. It's just good. It's going to kill what it needs to kill. Just roll 5-ups. If you're like, but Floof, what about XY? Just roll the 5-ups. Trust me, it'll be good. If you just roll 6s in this game, you tend to do really good. But, you know, I don't know where to get my Eldar toilet dice. So we move on. Our Time is Nigh, I like, but I don't know if I want. Does that make sense? It's cute, but I think between Assassination Edict, a flaw in their armor, and I just think I like the thought of Prowling Adjutant a lot more right now. Okay. That being said, Our Time is Nigh might be the better choice overall in the long run. I'm still at the testing phase, right? This is going to be kind of a journey that you and I are going to take over the next couple months to figure out what the heck is good in Gene Stealer cults. So we got all that. I think making sure that we keep our CP for Return to the Shadows, just in case they do they roll cold on a unit, and I still want that unit to go up. If they try and shoot something at the Primus squad that has a flaw in their armor and they don't kill it, and it's to a point to where it's got like 8-10 models in it, I'm picking that boy up and I'm regenerating 3 models on my turn, and I'm dropping them back down and I'm shooting stuff again. Yeah, it's great potential for when your opponent's dice roll cold or they just can't pick up the entire unit in one turn. Coordinated trap, I think, is just like its namesake, a trap. I've never used it in Index outside of maybe one time where I was trying to clean up a Great Unclean one and it still didn't work. Or no, it took like 8 demo charges, but yeah, I'm very low on this. For 2 CP, I think where I want to spend my CP is I would rather give 2 things 5-up crits than 2 things +1 to wound 1 thing, you know? That's just me. And lastly, the stuff I want to talk about, obviously everything else is good. Prime and Ready, Tunnel Crawlers, Lying in Wait, Return of the Shadows, all really good. The jury is out on a Deadly Snare. I think it's very situational, and I think I'm going to forget about this a lot of times, and it's not going to matter if I forget about it a lot of times, right? It's okay. Now, how does the list feel? How does the list work? From how I feel, I like it so far. I'm still in the phase to where I want to see everything right now, okay? We have a lot of problems in the new meta, and I need to find out which things provide the answers I want, right? I think GSC is in a good spot because I think GSC is always in a good spot when people don't think GSC is a thing. When we are in the thing to where we're in the spot to where it's like the number 1 army is Eldar and the number 2 army is GSC. Well, that kind of sucks because, man, people are going to start teching for GSC now, right? I don't want to be in that spot. I'm personally fine with everyone thinking we're the worst army in the game because I'll tell them to their face, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. I'm sorry. This army has play, and it's going to do a lot better than people think it is. I think people see that there isn't that much damage and they forget that this game isn't about killing things, it's about scoring points. And yes, this book will still kill things while you're scoring points, right? I think it is definitely still a more advanced army, but if you want to, once again, here is going to be the list that I am bringing to my next couple events, and I'll let you guys know how it works out. I think the Benefactus are still really cool in terms of just always being able to have that lethal hit, basically always being able to interact with Primed and Ready and just being threats that start on the board. I think all this stuff is really good. I might even drop the Icon Ward, put in a Benefactus attached to the Metamorphs and say, yeah, I don't get to scout, but this squad will always have lethal hits and can be a pretty nasty threat. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you are seeing anything that I'm missing for Host of Ascension, please let me know. I really appreciate all your guys' feedback and all of the interactions that I've been getting. The channel's been blowing up. I couldn't be happier. And just honestly, guys, thank you so much for what you're doing to this channel. My name is Floof. That's my dog right there. I still don't have an outro, and I will see you in the comments. Have a great day. Bye.